right now, we're going to do something completely different, of course, because it's now time to look at what is going on over in America. Because I'm not sure if you've heard, but the Duke and Duchess of Sussex have never been respected by the royal family. Harry! Well, William is now in stiff competition with his own dad, King Charles, and desperate to run the country, apparently. That's what Omid Scobie's new book, Endgame, says. And it certainly tells the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Only kidding. Scobie says he's got sources close to Harry and Meghan, which is how he got inside information for the tell-all book. But obviously, they've got nothing to do with it, and they're even looking at moving to Los Angeles. Closer to the action? Maybe she's going to get another job back in Hollywood. Who knows? Now, let's get live from Los Angeles, the host of the To Die For Daily podcast, Kinsey Schofield, because the Duke and Duchess of York might be getting in touch with you soon, Kinsey, to see if you know anyone that's got a $16 million mansion to sell. Very good evening.
Good evening to you, too. That's right. The Duke and Duchess of We Want Privacy, that famous South Park episode, heading to, probably the least private paparazzi-wise city in the entire world. I mean, Harry and Meghan, if they decide to move, he could actually become the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. How exciting is that? But if they decide to move to Los Angeles, they should anticipate to be chased around by photographers. That's what this city is known for. In fact, it's why a lot of celebrities move outside of LA. Wild that TMZ is reporting that Harry and Meghan would like to live closer to the city. We have seen and heard that Meghan Markle has spent a lot of time in a hotel room near her agency, despite the fact that she signed with them in April, and there has been little to no return on investment there. They have not shown us that she has any new opportunities over those last few months. But Meghan has spent a significant amount of time here in LA, so perhaps it makes sense for them so that they don't have to travel back and forth as often. But surprising when they've spent so much time really tearing into photographers.
Yes, it is. And also, we wouldn't want to see them being chased around at, 10 miles an hour again, like we did in New York, where, the police actually had to stand back to let the taxi go so slowly down the road after that event that they attended, when they were supposedly terrified, and then popped into the police station as well just to escape from the very slow-moving paps.
And don't forget that they had to utilize, video of Diana and Catherine, the Princess of Wales,
yes,
being harassed by photographers in their own Netflix documentary, because none existed of Meghan being harassed by paparazzi. So they utilized Harry Potter footage of, Harry Potter red carpets, and they used actual video of Diana and Kate because it didn't exist with Meghan.
Right. Well, I mean, last time we saw Meghan on a red carpet, you couldn't get her off it. One of those assistants was trying to, pull her off to the side and go, and she kept doing it. You do that very well. And she just did that little shimmy where you're going, no, I'm just going to go this way for a bit. I mean, it was great. She's clearly very good at avoiding the hand of responsibility to pull her out of the way. So she seemed to be quite enjoying that particular red carpet. But the big news, of course, tonight is all about Omid Scobie's new book being pulped in Netherlands. I don't know if you've heard this one, but apparently, unbeknownst to him, he says, I didn't do it. The Dutch version of the book, or the first printing of the Dutch version of the book, includes a passage in which the name of the person who was supposedly the member of the royal family who was racist to Harry is actually published.
That's right. And legally, I don't know if your show feels comfortable saying it, so I won't.
No, I don't think we should.
Right. So I won't. But we've, it's a name that's been circulated before here in the States. An author named Christopher Anderson wrote a book named The King, where he tells a similar story. Tom Bauer, in his book Revenge, actually says that it could have perhaps been Camilla that had made a joke about what the baby would look like based on its mother and father. Everyone I've heard report it says that there was an innocence about the comment, and that just, it's what Chris Rock said in his brutal stand-up against Meghan Markle. Every interracial family sits down and debates what the baby could look like. It's sweet, it's innocent, it is a natural question that you ask. And that's coming from Chris Rock. That's not coming from me. It has been pulled. It's not a great look for Omid. Now, Omid claims that he never put the name in the English manuscript, so he doesn't know how that translation could have come to fruition. But it's certainly doing, you know, probably what he wants PR-wise for the book, and here we are talking about it.
Well, we are, but that's because we're really talking about Harry and Meghan. I mean, he's now claiming as well that he's sort of not really spoken to Harry and Meghan about this book. His last book, you know, which was their sort of description of finding freedom and getting away from all the things they hated, with the sort of the claustrophobic nature of Britain and the press and the media and the horrible scrutiny and the horrible family. And there they were off to America for this newfound life together, and it was all going to be great. Well, it hasn't really worked out like that. So he's now saying, oh, of course, we don't really talk anymore, but I talk to their friends. So, I mean, does anybody out there know who these friends are? And is anyone speculating that they're probably nobody apart from Harry and Meghan?
Well, first of all, I feel like the first book should have been called Finding Freedom and Filing for Unemployment, because Harry and Meghan have been on the struggle bus since they got to America. Let's be honest.
Yes.
You know, it's interesting to me that Omid can say, I don't talk to Harry and Meghan, but I talk to their friends. But I have all this inside information about the royal family. The royal family has absolutely nothing to do with Harry and Meghan, so they certainly don't have anything to do with anyone that would consider themselves a friend of Harry and Meghan's. You know, there are multiple errors in this book and things that I just find very hard to comprehend, like the king having his shoelaces ironed. What kind of, you know, every male pair of shoes that I see are those almost plasticky or leathery round shoes that wouldn't require ironing. You know, this is a man that wears holes in his socks and wore a recycled suit to Harry and Meghan's wedding. His Aston Martin runs on cheese and wine. I highly doubt that somebody's ironing his shoelaces.
Yes.
So there's a couple of passages in there that I just have a hard time digesting. And, you know, I think that he claims William briefs the media through a third party.
Right.
Okay, if that's your definition of briefing the media, then if Meghan is telling you something through a friend, that's Meghan Markle briefing you. So, you know, there's an element of hypocrisy there. We need to, I guess, different rules for them, as always, with Harry and Meghan.
Yeah, of course. Let's have a look at Arthur Edwards. He was on Talk Today with Jeremy Kyle and Nicola Thorpe this morning, talking about how the royal family will be receiving this latest tome.
I think they'll be pretty angry about it because, as Piers said, most of it's untrue. I mean, it's you know, the fact that the king briefs the journalist. Now, look, I've been working with him for over 40 years. He's never once briefed me. I've had a few rockets from him, but he's never told me what's happening, and he wouldn't. And he would never discuss that. He wouldn't even dream of asking about his family.
But this is the thing, isn't it, Kinsey, that people, veteran royal correspondents, I mean, I was covering Charles and Diana at the White House with President Reagan. That's how old I am, when they came and she danced with John Travolta. I was actually there, you know, unbelievable, right? But, you know, you don't get these tete-a-tetes with them. They don't sit down with you and go, I must tell you about my terrible relationship with my brother. You know, it's an absolute nightmare. But let's see, as Arthur there referred to Piers Morgan, he's written a great column today about the lick-spittle, as he calls him, Omid Scobie. This is what he had to say about the claims in the book.
Got a copy of the book today, and I just checked, as you do, it's a digital copy. I did a little search, up I come 3 or 4 times. And on one occasion, he states, as a fact, that I have regular phone conversations with Queen Camilla. For the record, I have never had a single phone conversation with Queen Camilla. Now, he says, as a fact, in his book, that we have regular phone conversations. That I know, personally know, is an absolute lie.
So how's he been received in America?
I mean, unfortunately, I do think, because he's here now, did you know that? That he's staying in the Hollywood Hills. I do think that he's more accepted here in America because Americans are so invested in the soap opera. And that is what this is. This is one of those tacky, gossipy, just mean-spirited books. And, you know, Americans are... They're invested in the drama. So I do think that you are much more critical of Omid than American media is. And that's why Omid is going to those Sussex sympathizer media outlets only, because he doesn't want to be challenged. If you're going to say there are multiple people within the royal family that are racist, then you should have the courage to sit down in front of a journalist and have them pound you until you explain yourself.
Yeah. Exactly right. Brilliant stuff. Listen, we're going to be talking about this book, I'm sure, for a while, because each pit that gets unpicked, we're going to need to have your say on exactly everything that's going on. Kinsey, great to see you. Thank you very much indeed. Kinsey Schofield there, reporting into us from Los Angeles, California, where supposedly Meghan and Harry are thinking about moving back to. I mean, is there no end to the move? What about the kids?